showers tapering off before we head back into tomorrow with that final rain chance of the month. We're on your side with when we can expect more rain to return and how much we could potentially see.
Plus, we take you around the country to other places being impacted by severe weather this week and how they're beginning the cleanup process.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And happening today next door, a confirmed tornado crossing I-75 in Henry County earlier this afternoon. That's Henry County, Georgia. Check out this footage from our sister station, WANF. There have been reports of 2 injuries and damage across the area thus far, and you can see it crossing I-75 there, Wes.
Yeah, just south of Atlanta, and look at all of the traffic there. It looks like traffic coming from the direction of the tornado.
Right.
So scary stuff right there.
It
Certainly
is.
don't want to be caught out on the road. And I know we had the EF0 earlier this week at Redstone Arsenal in North Alabama, but in this tropical environment, it's almost kind of like tropical environment. You sometimes can get these random tornado warnings.
Right, and you know, we haven't officially started hurricane season,
No.
but it's just around the corner, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's certainly a reminder that you're getting into that time of the year. But right now, a break in the action. The wet weather has tapered off to scattered showers here locally, but we have one more round coming up overnight and tomorrow. Lauren and I have been tracking it for you. I want to show you that next big thing that we're going to be watching for the overnight. Scattered storms, and yes, one more round, at least more widespread round, and that's going to be happening starting tomorrow morning and then wrapping up by early afternoon. Now, in the meantime, a chance that we could have a couple of isolated showers and storms this evening, and then those scattered storms tomorrow increasing, but we still expect sunshine on Saturday and a nice cool start to the day Saturday with those temperatures down into the 50s. Sunday, still watching a system that may clip the northeast corner of the state, so we're throwing in a 20% chance for a shower, but Sunday, I wouldn't worry about canceling any big plans right now. Just check the forecast over the weekend. Most of the day looks fine at this point. But as we know, weather can always change, so check in for updates. But AccuTrack radar at the moment, there's some leftover rain pushing through Randolph County. Looks like for us here around Ashland and over to Talladega, north to Anniston. The rain has tapered off for most of us. Still a lot of low clouds out there. Very tropical feeling environment. Notice back to the west, there are some showers. We're going for a closer view, and yeah, it looks like Ashland, the back edge, you see right there, that rain has now moved out of town. So even for us, we're going to get to enjoy a nice break for these areas to the south and east. Certainly took a while to get this out of here. It's rained for most of the day. Looking at West Alabama, watching some of these pop-up showers over the state line. It seems like as they move into Alabama, they fall apart. But you can see over in Mississippi, a little bit of rain. We'll keep an eye out for some of those to possibly reach Marion and Lamar counties. Just know if you have plans anywhere from Hackleburg down to Vernon, over to Double Springs and Carbon Hill, Fayette, that there's a little bit of rain not far away. Let's keep an eye out for any precipitation alerts on the weather app, but very isolated coverage. That next best chance of rain coming up Friday morning, starting around 7 a.m. to lunchtime areas to the west. We're going to have a line that moves through. It's a final wave of scattered showers and storms. Some of those storms could be strong. It's a marginal severe risk. Gusty winds, we'll need to watch out for that through lunchtime, central areas, early afternoon. We'll see this finally coming to an end across our eastern counties. You see we have 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock there over into East Alabama. But looking ahead, we do have drier air settling in. I mentioned those temperatures taking a big improvements for.
Well, a similar situation occurring in Covington County, Mississippi. Damage and debris lining the streets after some March tornadoes. The Emergency Management Agency in the county ready to begin restoration efforts. President Donald Trump approved the request for individual and public assistance last week for several counties in Mississippi. Residents have asked to have the debris stacked properly on the curb.
We did speak with them initially when the storm happened that we will pick it up, but now that the operation is ongoing, we'll put out another public release and let everybody know that we'll start seeing cleanup operations begin.
Covington County EMA will also operate a disaster recovery center for residents to apply for financial assistance in Mississippi. And in Texas, powerful thunderstorms producing damaging winds, hail, and flash flooding on Wednesday. Wind gusts reached up to 80 miles per hour in some spots, which caused many trees to be knocked down, as well as power lines. This caused widespread power outages, with at least 30,000 customers still without power as of early this morning. And in Florida, severe storms earlier in the week causing water spouts to impact one neighborhood. Spencer Tracy has the latest.
You don't see it very often.
Thunderstorms came in Monday night. Mother Nature left her mark in the Waterford Lakes area, with a roof caving in and partially destroying a home's attic. Orange County Fire Rescue says that home on Blue Water Circle got struck by lightning and started a fire. One person was inside at the time, but fire crews say he made it out safely.
I heard the lightning a couple times and it was extremely loud.
And just a mile away on Canary Island Court, Desiree Shear recorded this video of a water spout in the retention pond behind her home.
It was loud, so I look over there and it's starting to suck shingles off of the neighbor's roof. And I was like, oh, so I started filming it, and then it started to form really well over the water.
And Shear says weather like this just comes with the territory.
It comes out of nowhere, it's invisible. It's not like a tornado, it's just starts out of nowhere and is there.
Well, even though it's fairly quiet in the Atlantic and Gulf, and hurricane season doesn't start in the Atlantic Basin until Sunday, which is June 1st, we do have a new tropical storm to watch in the eastern Pacific. This is Tropical Storm Alvin. So right now it's still a tropical storm with max sustained winds at 60 miles per hour. You can see it's actually just to the west of Mexico, and it's moving to the northwest at about 12 miles per hour. So Mexico going to be flanked by the Gulf to the east, and then the Caribbean as well. And then you also have off the west coast, the Pacific Ocean. So what's going to be happening as we go forward in time with Alvin? Could we potentially see a hurricane develop, or will it remain at tropical storm force? Well, it's going to be battling some things on its way northward. Right now, it's just forecast to stay a strong tropical storm by the National Hurricane Center, potentially strengthening here over the next 24 hours as it moves to the northwest. But eventually, as it moves farther to the north, it is expected to weaken a little bit. You see it could possibly make a brush, the remnants of it, at least towards the end of the weekend near the Baja Peninsula. So if you have any friends or family traveling out this way, just give them that first alert that they do need to keep an eye on Alvin. Wes?
All right, in 30 seconds, we talk about what you can expect for your Friday and take a look at that Skeeter meter as we bring you the weather extra on how excessive rain can certainly impact how many we see. We'll see you after the break. All right, we've been in a very stormy pattern out there, but look at the rain coverage over the next 6 days. You can see it finally backs off here across Alabama. Now we're watching tonight, tomorrow morning for the risk for some scattered thunderstorms. One more line that's going to make its way through here, but we get that out here just in time for finally a sunshine Saturday. We'll start out with some cool temperatures. Sunday, notice northeast Alabama could be an isolated shower. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the most part looks dry. We'll see a few isolated afternoon storms coming back, scattered afternoon storms around the middle of next week. One thing I was talking about earlier with all the rain that we've had here across Alabama, we've been seeing so much wet weather. You may want to double check around the house if you have any places where there's some standing water, maybe some empty flower pots, empty those out, because this time of year we know the mosquitoes have been bad, but after a setup like this, we're going to see that Skeeter meter in the extreme category. But this comes as experts in Washington are warning the public about the risk that standing water can pose when it comes to mosquito populations. Fox's Josh Rosenthal has more.
Here we are, Northwest DC, any old spot, and it's not hard to find standing water, and lots of it. We've had a ton of rain lately, and the thing is, when it comes to mosquitoes, that's a problem.
Once we get the warmer temperatures, once the mosquitoes that are out right now have a chance to blood feed and lay eggs in these standing water, we can expect to see large numbers of mosquitoes soon.
For example, bug guy Michael Rout told us that he has a 5-gallon pail behind his tool shed. He said if he doesn't get rid of the standing water in that pail in the next 10 or so days, there could literally be thousands of mosquitoes breeding inside. He says this much rain at this time of year is a perfect storm that could lead to even more mosquitoes than usual. As far as how people are responding to that tonight, well, pretty much how you'd expect. What do you think, learning this?
Not good, not happy. I do like critters and bugs, but mosquitoes are not wonderful. They do carry diseases, and they buzz and they itch, and they're no picnic, at a picnic especially.
Bottom line, Raub said all of us should do everything we can to dump all the standing water that we can find. Guys.
And taking you around the world now, up to Canada, where thousands of people are evacuating the Manitoba Bay area due to wildfires. And that's actually Manitoba. It's the region's worst start to the wildfire season in years. Officials declaring a state of emergency, calling for nearly 17,000 people to move quickly. Federal armed forces were also being called in to help transport evacuees. Separately, wildfires in the Alberta province also prompted a temporary shutdown of some oil and gas production and forced residents on one small town to evacuate. So we want to look at where exactly that smoke is, and it's generally in central and farther into eastern Canada. So this is a smoke map that we're looking at, and where you're seeing the pinks showing up here, the reds, the yellows, those indicate those higher concentrations of smoke. And you see it's certainly very close to the U.S. border. So as we go forward in time here over the next 12 hours or so, you can see the winds help to bring that smoke potentially into parts of the U.S. So if you have friends or family who live in the Great Lakes region, or maybe you're watching us from the Great Lakes region, just want to give you a first alert that there could be reduced visibility and possibly some air quality issues as this smoke from Canada travels farther to the south. And I think this map gives a good view too. You know, we're not likely at this time going to be affected by it here in the southeast, but you can see that thicker smoke, that more dense smoke, could be moving as far south as areas like Minnesota, Wisconsin, possibly over into Michigan, even into parts of Nebraska, if not the Dakotas. So certainly something to keep an eye on. As of right now, we're not expecting any issues here in our neck of the woods. Well, don't go anywhere. We continue to bring you the latest as we get a little closer to that sunshiny weekend and talk about how this month's rain impacted farmers in central Alabama. We'll be right back.
All right, it's time to check in on that beach forecast. And as Lauren was noting, there's some tropical action going on over in the Pacific. But as far as our region goes right now, we are seeing things rather quiet in the Atlantic Basin. Of course, the Atlantic hurricane season kicks off on Sunday. So live look from Gulf Shores. Let's take you over to PC, and it looks nice and sunny there too, and looks like some good times here for a beach trip where there were some storms earlier today. You can see the rip current risk is going to be in the low category Saturday into Sunday, and down along the coast looks like a beautiful weekend coming up. If you are heading down tomorrow to the beach, Saturday and Sunday looks like sunshine, highs in the 80s. Now travel to the beach tomorrow, you may run into some storms down into South Alabama. There is a level 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe weather. You go into South Alabama, so keep that in mind. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, looks like upper 80s and typical beach weather. Not a bad week there weather-wise for a trip, so looks like you're in good shape. Right now we're 76 in Birmingham, wind southwest, lots of sun. What a turnaround in the weather out there today compared to earlier. Look at Tuscaloosa, 79 degrees and plenty of sunshine, and the Anniston area, it is 70. And actually, this is a view from Coldwater Mountain. We're in the clouds here. We've had some cloudy conditions, but the clouds will start to move out and we'll have some sunshine coming back, some clearing across East Alabama. We've been tracking a few of those leftover showers. It's taken it a little while to get out of East Alabama. Still could be an isolated shower for this evening. There's 10 o'clock tonight, and it showed maybe one lone shower over Coleman County. You can see right there showing up not far from Raglan, maybe in early tomorrow morning. But again, the coverage is very, very isolated, so don't cancel any plans you have this evening. It looks like a nice little break in the action, but tomorrow, starting around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you see back to the northwest. Finally, we have a front that's going to drop south, and some rain showers and storms will break out along that front. Some of those could be strong with some gusty winds, and that's going to push on through here around late morning, midday. There could be some loud rumbles, and again, just stay alert for a marginal severe risk as this moves through. There's around 11 o'clock to lunchtime, but it looks like by lunchtime, by 12 o'clock, most of this is pushing into the southern part of the coverage area. But this is a fast mover. It's not as widespread and as much rain as what we saw earlier today, but you can see that the coverage is certainly going to be more widespread, at least through the middle of the day. And after that, winds out of the northwest, some drier weather takes over, and we got some nice conditions coming up, as you'll see on the First Alert 10-day forecast, and we'll get over to that. There you go, and you can see Saturday, Sunday sunshine, highs in the 80s, maybe a shower northeast on Sunday. Monday through Wednesday looks mainly dry, and then towards the end of next week, looks like we'll have scattered showers and storms coming back with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. There we have that First Alert for some afternoon pop-up storms around next Thursday. We start singing that summertime tune when it comes to the forecast. But though all the rain that we've been getting could be a big help as we head into our dry months later in the year, we're checking in on the farmers in the state now to see how the wet weather has been impacting their crops. Your reporter Ajane Robinson joins us from a peach farm in Chilton County with how they've been dealing with all the wet weather.
Now, excessive rain, it's made it tough for farmers to plant, and in some cases even harder for them to pick out what's already grown. Now, for fruits like peaches and strawberries, too much moisture can lead to things like cracked skin, muddy fields, and in some cases even missed sales. Now, this peach farm in Chilton County may look picture perfect now, but just moments ago it was drenched, and for some farmers the rain isn't just inconvenient, it can be crop threatening.
Most time the heat will shut you down. This year would have been the rain.
Now, too much rain causes peaches to crack.
As we call it, skin slip off of them. When they get ripe, you can touch it and the skin will just peel off.
Now, rain also keeps customers away. Harrison says rainy mornings mean slow sales.
This morning when it rained all morning, our business was dead. But after the rain stopped and business has picked up, and I've had to go back and pick more peaches.
But it's not just peaches. All crops are feeling the effects. Muddy fields, erosion, and standing water are keeping farmers stuck and delaying new plantings.
It just creates all kind of problems.
Strawberries are also struggling due to the fungus disease, but Deloach Farm says this rain would have shut down their strawberry season early.
The rain would cause the berries to actually just kind of turn to mush.
Now, there's no perfect forecast in farming, but one thing these farmers agree on, you never want to wish rain away.
But you never want to say, no, I don't want any more rain. you go with your gut and do the best you can, and you deal with what you got.
You know, it's all in the good Lord's hands. Whatever He wants us to have, that's what we'll have.
And as for soybeans, one farmer says they're loving the moisture, but there's still planting to do. So while these farmers are feeling a little bit soggy, they're of course staying optimistic. The peaches are still sweet. Those soybeans are sprouting. And hey, if you're headed to a local fruit stand, rain or shine, they'll be happy to see you. Your reporter in Choten County, Ajane Robinson, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
And thanks to Ajane to bringing back some of those peaches that we could enjoy. I saw them down in the newsroom earlier. Well, as we look ahead beyond the 7-day, let's look at that temperature outlook as we head into June. This is looking at June 6th through 12th, so about 8 to 14 days from now over the next 2 weeks. You can see across the East Coast the possibility of above average temperatures in the forecast. So, it's been kind of hit or miss with temperatures depending on how much rain you see around during the heat of the day. But there is a question, okay, if we could be seeing warmer temperatures going into June, what about rain chances? Well, I hate to break it to you. We may see a little reprieve early next week, but beyond the 7-day, still looking at the potential for above average precipitation. And of course, this time of the year, as we approach hurricane season, which begins on Sunday, we want to keep a close eye on the tropics as well. So let's look at the futurecast beyond the 7-day. Here we are next Friday at 6 a.m. This is June 6th. Hard to believe, June 6th already almost here. You can still see it looks what could be a northwest flow pattern taking shape again, and that could be bringing in those disturbances from the northwest that push to the southeast. So we'll be watching that as we head into next weekend. Potentially some more of those storm clusters coming in. Wes was mentioning that we see those rain chances going up beginning next Thursday, and it looks like that could very well continue into next weekend. And then we've been seeing some signs that there could possibly be some unsettled weather in the western Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf. It's way too early to say anything with certainty, but we're just giving you a first alert that we're going to be keeping an eye on things in the tropics as we get into the start of hurricane season. This particular model, if you see people posting it on social media, first of all, they're doing so irresponsibly, but this particular model we're showing you, it always likes to spit out tropical systems about 2 weeks down the road. So forecasting, it is not a perfect science, and these models are just a guide. They are not the gospel. We'll have a final check on your forecast after the break.
All right, well, Lauren, it looks like tomorrow, one more round. If we can get through tomorrow, we got some nice weather heading into Saturday.
Yeah, honestly, Wes, I think by this time tomorrow, we may be able to sound the all clear.
All right, well, listen, we're going to be tracking more storms in your forecast for Friday morning. We'll have updates first at 9.